Hello everyone and welcome to round 7 of the Club 100 E60 Championship from the Wilton Mill International Circuit. I'll hand you back over to myself in just a second because I've got a little bit of a plug to do for you. This year we at Rich T Racing are doing Movember to play our part in the fight against prostate and testicular cancer as well as the battle to prevent male suicide. In the UK alone, 3 out of 4 deaths are the result of male suicide, with suicide also being the main cause of death among men aged 20 to 34. Myself and P-Dubs have shaved off our beards and Derek is attempting to grow one. Going well by the looks of it. Not only that, we're also collectively aiming to run 100 kilometres during the month of November. Finally, and most importantly, you can help your fellow bros by registering for a team in our 6-hour multi-class endurance race at Le Mans. This will be broadcasted on our YouTube channel itself and also with our friends over Apex Racing TV on the 28th of November. Your friends and family can support you while you dominate the field as they watch on from a professional broadcast with live timing. All of this while helping to save lives and promote men's health. To give you a feel of what you could be in store for, here's a little teaser made by none other than Mr. James Derrick. Guarantee your entry and find out more about this event by heading over to vetockley.com. Link will be in the description. If you're not able to take part in the race, please head over to our Movember page, which is also in the description. And if you could, please leave us a donation. However big, however small, any donation is a positive donation. So with all that said and done, let's now get back into the karting video and I shall hand you back over to, well, myself. What I've basically got to do today is make sure the track guide I put up, I actually do what I said in that. Is that Jim Broadbent in Super GT? I think it is. Hello chaps. Hello. So yeah, they're here. Howard and Andrew of DDMM are here. So it's basically a battle of the YouTubers today. Hopefully I win. We'll have to see. If you did watch the track guide, I hope you did. I'll leave a link to it as well. You'll see this is the new monster curb. It was horrific. It's now still horrific, but a little bit better. I love the fact they put a cone on there. That's hilarious. Absolutely love coming here. Reminds me of the BUKC back in the day, basically where I started karting. So it's unfortunate then that this is the international layout, not the Zulu, because I'm not very good at the international, or I wasn't. Hopefully, maybe the track guide will make me better. Who knows? Aim for today, go top 10, and beat all the other people that do YouTube. Probably won't beat Super GT, but we'll see. It also occurs to me that you probably have not seen this. This is my new helmet. It was done by the lovely Mr. Richard Concepts, called Richard. Lovely name. Yeah, it's got black and green. It's obviously green for sure. The RTR represent. So yeah. That's about all for this intro, so I suppose the next thing you're going to see is me in a go-kart ready to go out for practice. Hello everyone and welcome to a go-kart that is ready to go out for practice. Now a few announcements before we begin. Jim Broadbent isn't actually here. The man that Super GT was with was just a man, so sorry about that. I tried a new camera angle for this event. I wanted to see if we could see more of what was going on. To do that, I tried a new stand that happened to swivel, and so the camera ended up looking a little bit like this. So yeah, that really worked. And also we started this practice session on brand spanking new tyres. This meant they are cold as anything, and to drive on them, it's basically like driving in the wet. So the advice is to drive slow, be cautious, and most importantly of all,
don't be a cunt.
A bit of advice that these 4 clearly did not pay attention to, as well as Super GT. Don't think we didn't see the tweet. But anyway, we get through the first few laps, I come in to change the camera, and it's now time to go out and have a lovely, relaxed practice session, and also put into practice what I said during the track guide video. How hard could that be? Very hard. as it would turn out. So not the best preparation for qualifying. We're coming on to what is the final lap of this session and what would be my fastest one, so it's time to introduce the Rich T timer and take you through a lap of the Will to Mill International Circuit, my fastest lap. So get onto the right for turn 1, flat through there, onto the left, aim for the grill through turn 2, you've completely flat through that corner, and now it's the long run down towards Christmas through the crook. Look for the marshal post as your braking point, brake as late as you dare, clip the apex, didn't do it very well there, but then it's flat out of Christmas through Boxing Day and cut the corner here at Incubans, heading now down into Ashby. Brake at the 3 lines, turn in late, get on the throttle as quickly as you possibly can, use all of the runoff heading up to the first of the reverse Lesmos, dabber brakes straight back onto the throttle, use as much of the track as possible, then braking to the second of the reverse Lesmos at the marshal post, clip the apex at the middle of the corner and then run it out to the left heading down towards the boot. Use the marshal post for your braking point, clip the curb on the left hand side of that line, and then just keep it pinned through here, keep it tighter than what I've done there, and then flat through the final corner, run your tyres over the rumble strip, and because it was the final lap, go a little bit to the left over the start finish line. And all of the practice that I sort of gave myself with that track guide has paid off, because it finally we get a good qualifying result and come home in P10. Not only did we come home in 10th, we were also on the same row as Super GT, didn't quite expect to be saying that, and we have also completely obliterated Andrew and Howard at Double Dash Motorsport Media, who were in 20th and 24th respectively. So in this battle of the YouTubers, we've got a great chance of beating them, who we could also beat Super GT. Who knows? It's going to be a fantastic race. 54 dead for pole, 54-3 for me in 10th. That basically shows you how close this grid is. We're pretty much all ready to go. We get the peace sign of approval from Polly in the interval, and it is now time to get this race underway. Shall we do this? Let's do this. So there we go, not only have we finally got a decent qualifying in one of these races, but we've also managed to have a very decent first lap. We've gained a good few positions, probably about 2 I reckon. We did also lose a position to this chap in the all black up top, but yeah, no, really good start. And it's also a fantastic start, it has to be said, for Super GT. I don't know if you noticed him on the inside into Christmas, but he just absolutely sent it and really got the reward from it. I think he might even be leading now. There is one guy who is just miles out in front in black and white, but that's probably not Super GT, as this chap now has a nice little lunge down the inside, bit of contact on that chap in sort of the creamy black suit, and that is now another position gain. So if you just look, we can still see the leader. We're in about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're at about 7th as we're about to cross the line to start lap 3. So fantastic stuff there from me, if I do say so myself. As we cut forward a few laps, Black Man in all black has a dive bomb on this guy who was on the front row, and he's just completely fallen down the grid. He had a little look around the outside, but Man in all black had the inside line, and he's just squeezed me as we head into the second of the reverse Lesmos. But this is obviously my next target, and he's not quite within striking range into Christmas, but unfortunately someone who was in target range was myself, as I just get overtaken, or repassed I should say, by that chap in the creamy black suit. So we've lost a little bit of ground now, and a couple of laps later we once again lose ground to not one but two people, as we've now also been dive bombed by that chap into the second hairpin. So gone a bit backwards here, has to be said. After that really positive start, we have just fallen back. We have tried to fight back against Tyrrell here, but unfortunately that did not work. But we're going to stay on board this clip, because as you can see in front, the man in the blue and white has now overtaken the chap who was holding us up. So surely this is going to send him back towards me, although it has to be said, that guy is the reason I am now in this position. I'm now fallen down to probably back down to about 10th, but as Tyrrell sends a beautiful dive bomb, it has to be said, someone to give him an R, send it there. So having completely ruined my start, man in orange and blue helmet has now come back firmly within my grasp. Got to get this move done as quickly as possible. It was hesitation that led me into this situation, but we're going to have a little look down around the outside, even into the first part of the boot, and if he hadn't cut me off a little bit there, I reckon I would have been sending it down the inside into the second part of the boot, a move I am often very fond of, but he did just cut me up a little bit, and I would let this go, but he ruined my start. So actually I'm going to hold on to it, leave a cart's width, sir. But anyway, we head through the first corner, and we just see how much speed we've gained on him there, but he's just gained a little bit more on me through turn 2, so there's not going to be any overtaking opportunity into Christmas on this occasion. But as you see there, he's just missed the apex of the corner, and it's just going to be a simple case of running it through increments, lining it up down the inside, and we get the position back. So the start has been slightly made up for, but as you can see, we were quite far behind the two guys that had overtaken us, and as we cut forward a considerable way, because not a lot happened, the next thing to really happen is Tyrrell's wheel just fell off. It just fell off, and he just went spinning into oblivion. And we also get overtaken by this chap who has been a regular feature in our E60 video so far. I think his name's Wilson, I think. Tom Hanks is probably looking for him. He's also probably looking for that helmet, because it is absolutely fantastic. As we head now through the first two corners, you can see here I've got a much better run on him out of turn 2, heading down towards Christmas, lining up down the inside once again, and it is a simple case of wham, bam, thank you, man, and we get that position back. So we're behind this guy now in front. Not sure if he's a back marker, not sure if we're actually racing him, but it doesn't really matter anymore, because we've now just been sent upon by G3Pro.com G3. So that move back on Wilson, completely useless, as it would turn out. We'll cut forward a little bit later, as the yellow flag is still out for Wilson, and you just see him there, not Wilson even, sorry, I should mention Tyrrell, and a lovely bit of back marker driving there, but yeah, Tyrrell just having to limp his cart home on 3 wheels. You don't see that every day, but yeah, we're cutting forward now. Where are we? We're 22 minutes into this race, breaking into the first part of the boot. You can just see there, that was Wilson trying to go around that out. He went down the inside into the first part of the boot, and I was able to fend him off into the second. It was a little bit aggressive from me, but sometimes you do have to get a little bit aggressive, as now Purr has got in my way. I think this guy is a back marker. We're now going to be overtaken by a new man to have entered the fray. It is man in grey helmet with hands post. So he's come out from absolute nowhere. I don't know if Wilson got bumped away by me during that little skirmish, or he was able to capitalise on our little skirmish. But anyway, it was a few minutes before I was able to get back onto his arse, and are we going to send? Oh, this would be an absolute send, and to be fair, that is another fantastic little move from myself, if I do say so myself, into Christmas. And we are now a little bit further on into this race. We're 33 minutes in, and it is fair to say that not a lot has been happening in this race. A couple of overtakes here and there, but not a lot compared to Buckmore and to Shennington. But what has happened that is different to those races is that I've decided to change my strategy. Normally I pit as soon as the pit window opens, 15 minutes into the race, but this time I am running it long. I am going for 45 minutes as to when to pit, because I was fighting at the front, and I thought, you know what, might as well carry on. The guys around me could get into trouble, and the result of that is that I am currently running in third, just behind Team Super Goats, which is Super GT's team. So that chap there in the orange is the man who Super GT was racing with, and as I'm sure you can possibly work out, we're not going to be beating Super GT today, so the target now is to make sure we finish in front of the Double Dash Motorsport Media dynamic duo of Howard and Andrew. And speak of the devil, there is Andrew Mather about to be lapped by the race leader. Obviously we've got second just in front of this guy, and then obviously it's me. I'm one of the leaders at this stage, it has to be said. But yeah, Andrew about to be lapped by the front runners, and I'm just going to let the rest of this play out. Andrew Mather demonstrating his newfound love of cutting grass there. Absolutely fantastic, but we'll leave him alone now because we are going to be pitting this lap. You will just notice there's a little water droplet on the camera lens. That's going to be with us for the rest of this race. That came from this chap in the Liverpool BUKC suit. His radiator was leaking, but obviously it wasn't affecting his performance too badly. I just get sent upon by one of the guys coming through to try and win this race, and now head into the pit lane myself. And obviously you want to be nice and calm and smooth through the pit lane and just don't hit a wooden post like I did there. Very stupid. I honestly sort of thought they were going to be sending me around again, because that is what normally happens if you completely cock up a pit stop like I have done just then. And it has to be said, as I left the pits, there was something noticeably wrong with the car. There was something vibrating in a way that it shouldn't have been vibrating, obviously from the contact with the wooden post, and this really threw my confidence for the final sort of 15 minutes of this race, so much so that a few minutes later we are passed once again by man in grey helmet with the hands post, and this really was the spark for me to move on past the bodywork damage that was not affecting car performance, get that out of my mind, buckle down, and now we've got a target to aim for to get back past this guy. We've done it before into Christmas, we can do it again. We're going to run it nicely through turn 1, and we're going to absolutely balls up turn 2 and not get anywhere near him. So we're going to try again in a few laps time, and here we go. You can just see that he's not done turn 1 as well as he could have done, and now I am firmly on his arse heading down towards Christmas. And for the first time in my life, I see the secret special signal to say let's work together, and I actually decided, you know what, let's work together, because just in front you can see those two carts just heading through Ashby. We are racing for position, so the plan is to work together, not race each other, and just use our speed to catch up to these guys. And obviously we can do that together. Individually we've got to make sure we don't do any cock-ups. For example, running wide and hitting the tyres on the exit of the first of the reverse Lesmos. So that has allowed man in grey helmet and hands posts to get further ahead. And then a couple of minutes later, we also hit the monster curb and nearly get yeeted into absolute oblivion. And unfortunately, those two errors would have knock-on effects. The butterfly effect, if you will, because I'd love to be able to show you what happened, but annoyingly, as always happens in E60 races, my battery died with a few minutes to go, and annoyingly the final few laps were absolutely amazing. They were so close. If I hadn't had those two little incidents, I would have been much closer to man in grey helmet and hands post. Could have capitalised on when we did catch up to those two guys and possibly have got a few more positions, but unfortunately I was too far back. When I finally got onto the back of those two guys, I was a little bit too cautious. I didn't go for moves that I should have done. I didn't do what Ayrton Senna told us to do, that if you are a racing driver and you see a gap and you don't go for it, you're no longer a racing driver. So I'm no longer a racing driver. I announced my retirement, not like I've just spent 1,700 quid on a brand new helmet, but yeah, there we go. I was too cautious, and ultimately I would come home to finish in P11, so one place down on where I started. And you know what, I am quite disappointed with that, but at the same time I'm not, because me and Wilton Mill International have never got on. I've never had what I would think a genuinely good race at this track, and apart from hitting a post just then, I think I had a really good race. I felt at one with the kart and the track, and that is the most important thing really, and that was what I would take away from this the most, is that ultimately I had a good race. I had good performance. I set a 53.8 as my fastest time. I think the fastest lap was a 53.4, so that shows how close I'm getting to the front runners. Normally I'm about 0.8 of a second off the fastest guy. So yeah, it's also like to have done the track guide beforehand, not really being sure of myself, and then to have done that, come to Wilton and actually done a really decent job from a driver perspective, I'll take that, even if that means that I finished in 11th. But also on that note, as I am kart 11 finished in 11th, so I will 100% take that really insignificant little fact, but it just has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? But yeah, that is the end of this video. Oh, actually no, sorry, I should point out, in the battle of the YouTubers, as the title would suggest, Super GT won the race, obviously. I obviously came 11th, and then it was so close between Howard and Andrew. Andrew there obviously completely obliterating one guy as he attempted to be a garden cutter. He finished in 21st, Howard finished in 20th. So I don't know if this is Howard's first time in the E60, it's the first time I've been there, whilst Howard's been there as well, but Howard beating Andrew in the end. I think they were, Andrew did a 54 dead, and Howard did a 54.1, so firmly second place in the battle of the Club 100 YouTubers, and I shall take that. I didn't expect to be on the same row as Super GT in qualifying, so we'll take that as a positive into the next race. Now, obviously, it's unclear when the next race will be. It certainly won't be Buckmore on the 21st of November. Hopefully, we'll be back here for Wilton Mill on the 5th of December. Obviously, we've gone back into lockdown. Who knows what's going to happen? Hopefully, fingers crossed, we will be there on the 5th of December for the Wilton Zulu layout. Massive props to Club 100 for not cancelling the season outright, so we shall keep our fingers crossed. We'll also keep our fingers crossed for maybe, just maybe, being able to do one of these races with Jim Broadbent so we can see where we stack up against him in this battle of the YouTubers. That is now the end of the video. If you are still watching, thank you so much. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please be sure to subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, and as always, please remember,
don't be a cunt.
This has been a Rich T Racing Productions. Thank you so much for watching. Ta-ta and farewell.